St. Petersburg, 1849. Soldiers pull Fyodor Dostoevsky from a quiet room, march him into the cold, blindfold him before a firing squad, and tell him to prepare for death. The rifles rise. A messenger arrives. A pardon? At the last breath. Not freedom. Siberia. Omsk. Chains. Frost. Years in a barracks where hope rots fast. They expected him to vanish into silence and madness. Most broken men would have begged for an easier fate. Most would have used exile to replay their mistakes until the mind turned bitter and small. Dostoevsky did something different. He studied. He watched the men around him, measured their motives, traced the small moves that grow into disasters. He learned the map of the human heart under pressure. And from that cold laboratory came books that still disturb the courts of the soul. Not manuals for comfort, but a way to see power clearly so chaos could no longer rule you. People think power is about what you hold in your hands. Dostoevsky shows it is about what you understand. When you understand, you stop moving like prey. You see the game before others know they are playing. You hear the hinge turn in a quiet sentence. You notice the shadow in a friendly smile. They tried to break him by taking everything away: status, city, warmth, friends. Instead, they handed him a gift: the hunger to decode the system that crushed him. And 5 generations later, that system still runs. The same tricks, the same weak spots, the same predictable moves dressed as random storms. The difference now is simple. You can learn to read it. So we begin where he began, with chaos. Chaos is not random. It repeats. Betrayal repeats. Flattery repeats. Boundary tests repeat. In Demons, a town does not fall by accident. A few men pull small levers and the whole machine shakes. They play to pride, to boredom, to fear. They seed rumor, then stand back as the crowd does the rest. If you can see that mechanism before it starts, you are not a victim of disorder. You are an engineer of outcomes. If you cannot, you will call it fate and suffer it again. Here is the first rule: prepare while the sky is blue. In House of the Dead, the men who drifted without standards broke first. The men who set small inner laws, how to speak, how to answer insult, what to refuse, kept a center no guard could touch. Write your laws now. Decide how you will respond to delay, provocation, praise, guilt. When the flood comes, it is too late to pour concrete. The river takes the house that waited. Look back at your last collapse. Was there no signal, or did you ignore it? The friend who cooled did not freeze in a day. Replies slowed. Jokes cut a little deeper. Questions gathered details they did not need. You felt the rise of the water but called it rain. Do not curse yourself for that. Learn the pattern. Name it. Record it. When those signs appear again, act early and act clean. You are not paranoid. You are awake. Power, in Dostoevsky's world, is not loud. It is ordered. Raskolnikov tries to be great by stepping over a line, but the inner court wakes and drags him back. Conscience is the prosecutor that never sleeps. Porphyry does not push. He watches the current until it reveals its bend. Understanding first, action second. This order matters. When you reverse it, when you act first and try to understand later, you trade 1 hour of relief for months of repair. You ask, isn't this hard? Hard is pretending storms are kind. Hard is rebuilding the same life every year because you refuse to learn the shape of the wind. Soft is clarity. Soft is a plan you can carry when you are tired. The heart stays warm when the boundaries are clear. Mercy without a plan becomes self-harm. A plan without mercy becomes cruelty. Keep both in one hand. See truly. Act precisely. Refuse to hate. Refuse to lie to yourself. If you can do these 4 things, You become the kind of person chaos cannot feed on. Do one practice tonight. Before sleep, hold a small court inside. Speak the day without drama. Where did you trade truth for comfort? Where did you allow a small disrespect because you feared a small conflict? Note it. Decide the sentence, a boundary to state, a promise to end, a meeting to decline. Then forgive what can be forgiven. Close the book. Sleep. In the morning, you wake lighter because order has returned. This is not mysticism. This is hygiene of the mind. You brush your teeth so rot does not spread. You can brush your heart so confusion does not harden into fate. If you are ready to stop nursing pain and start studying patterns, write it now, once, and mean it. I study power with conscience. Say it, then prove it in small steps. Audit your week. Mark where manipulation enters. Mark where you stay silent to buy peace. Mark where your time bleeds and no one pays. Do not hate the river. Shape it. Put stones where the bank is weak. Redirect the flow so it turns the wheel you chose. You are not polishing an old self. You are building a new architecture. The old self begged the storm for mercy. The new self becomes quiet and exact and makes the storm change course. Keep it steady. Keep it simple. Keep it clean. Remember the sentence that will follow you into the next lesson. Chaos has patterns. You will be prepared. You've learned to read the river. Now learn to shape the shoreline. In the world Dostoevsky shows us, people rarely meet your soul first. They meet your surface. They meet your face, your tone, your timing. They meet a mask. This is not an insult to humanity. It is a limit of attention. Most of us judge from a distance because we don't have the time or courage to come closer. That limit is your greatest leverage if you use it with a clean heart. Men judge more by their eyes than by their hands, and Dostoevsky proves it again and again. In The Idiot, a genuinely good man walks into a room, and the room misreads him because the room prefers image to essence. Kindness looks like weakness when the crowd is hungry for drama. Meanwhile, in Demons, cold men move a town by crafting appearances, serious when they need to look sincere, pious when they need to look safe, gentle when they need to get close. The lesson is simple. The public reacts to who they think you are long before they find out who you actually are, and by the time they understand, the outcome is already set. So you must master the mask while keeping a clean interior. This is not hypocrisy. This is stewardship. You do not lie about your core. You simply decide which face serves the mission without betraying the conscience. Appear calm even when you are calculating, because panic makes people panic. Appear generous even when you are strategic, because goodness opens doors that force would only dent. Appear devout even when you are analyzing, because reverence steadies a room before a difficult truth is spoken. If you try to be all softness all the time, the cruel will eat you. If you try to be all steel all the time, the decent will leave you. Hold both and switch with purpose. Dostoevsky's characters carry this warning folded inside every scene. Design your projection, or someone else will design it for you. If you leave your reputation unattended, rumor will live there rent-free. If you let your enemies define you, your friends will meet a stranger in your name. Build the image before a crisis, not during it. Decide the 3 traits you will be known for and behave into them until even your silence carries those traits. Perhaps it is mercy, precision, and steadiness. Perhaps it is clarity, discipline, and faith. Choose them, then align your smallest habits to make them visible. Your reply time, your posture, your refusal to gossip, your habit of finishing what you promised. People trust patterns more than promises. This is where the quiet court returns. Each night, ask the judge inside, what did they see today when they saw me? Did my words ring true to my chosen traits? Did my face speak fear while my mouth claimed courage? If the verdict is off, you correct the signal tomorrow, one adjustment at a time. A steady gaze when you speak a boundary. A slower breath when others try to rush you. A clean sentence when you say no. Soon, your presence enters rooms before you do. Conversations shift without you insisting. That is gravity, and it forms when reputation and reality finally touch. There is danger here, and Dostoevsky points at it with a steady hand. A mask can protect, and a mask can poison. If you live inside the mask, you will rot behind your own display. In A Gentle Creature, the controlling man builds a fortress of image so tight that love cannot breathe inside it. The mask becomes a cell, and the soul suffocates. Do not make that mistake. Wear the mask to serve the mission, then remove it when you pray, when you rest, when you speak with those who have earned your unguarded truth. A mask that comes off keeps you human. A mask that never comes off eats you. When you must defend yourself, you defend the reputation first. It is your armor long before the facts arrive on the field. If someone attacks it, do not scream. Show one contradiction and let silence do the rest. In The Brothers Karamazov, the courtroom sways not only on evidence, but on the aura of those who speak. The measured voice moves more than the loud. The consistent life outruns the clever story. If you need to puncture a false image, point to the inconsistency and stop there. A single pin breaks a balloon. You do not need a sword. Now make this practical. Choose the sentence by which you will be seen, the sentence you can carry on tired days. Calm, exact, and clean. Or merciful, firm, and fair. Write it where you will trip over it. Dress it, walk it, answer messages by it, say yes and no by it. Reputation is not a speech. It is 1,000 small echoes. Each echo trains the crowd to expect a sound. Then the sound moves the crowd. This is not manipulation. It is consistency performed in public. If you are ready to stop hoping they understand you and start engineering what they see, write it once and mean it. They see what I allow. My conscience decides what I am. After you write it, live it. The child in you will want to explain yourself to everyone. Don't. Explanation is often a request for approval dressed up as clarity. Be clear instead. Be brief. Let time do what argument cannot. When your actions repeat, even the noisy will quiet. Remember this final note from Fyodor's ledger. Masks are tools. Conscience is the law. Keep the tool sharp. Keep the law unbroken. If you hold that balance, the world meets a surface it can trust and a depth it cannot move. Then rooms will turn slightly when you enter, not from fear, but from the relief that someone stable is here. You have order inside and a clear face outside. Now you need the switch. The world offers two kinds of threat. One is open, loud, and proud. It walks straight at you and tests the line you drew. The other is quiet. It smiles, asks kind questions, and lays a snare under the carpet. If you carry only one nature, you lose. If you can switch, you live. Dostoevsky shows this in every city he builds. The street belongs to strength. The corridor belongs to cunning, and the soul belongs to the judge within. Think of the lion. The lion is your open force. When someone crosses a boundary you made clear, the answer cannot be a paragraph. It must be a sentence. The lion acts once, fast and unmistakably. In The Brothers Karamazov, hot blood surges and men crash into each other like storms. Rage alone destroys, but a clean strike, held by conscience, restores the line everyone must respect. The lion's danger is blindness. A creature built for roar does not see thin wire. It steps, the trap closes, and power turns to noise. That is the fate of people who answer every problem with volume. Now think of the fox. The fox is your reading and your timing. It looks long, listens much, and sees the string that pulls the puppet. Porphyry in Crime and Punishment wins without raising his voice. He waits until the current shows its bend and then places a hand. In Demons, the sly men do not push the door. They oil the hinge and let others open it. The fox's danger is fear. It mistakes every stand for a trap and dies when the wolf chooses daylight. That is the fate of people who answer every problem with delay. Dostoevsky's lesson is simple and hard. Carry both natures and bind them to one law, the conscience. Without conscience, the lion becomes cruel and the fox becomes a liar. With conscience, the lion is a surgeon and the fox is a scout. You strike only when a boundary has been clearly tested. You wait only when waiting sharpens truth. This balance is not theory. It is a small habit you can practice until it becomes a reflex. Here is how it sounds in a room. An open challenge arrives. We can just ignore what you asked and do it my way. The lion answers, "No." Not louder, cleaner. "We agreed on the plan. If you want to change, bring reasons by noon. Until then, we keep the line." Then the lion sits down. No lecture, no extra anger for sport. One strike, one echo. Everyone learns, or a hidden test appears, a sweet question that gathers private facts, a gentle triangle that turns you against a friend, a small favor that becomes a rope. The fox answers with distance and light, happy to share what's needed for the task, nothing more. I don't speak about them without them. I'll confirm the terms in writing. The snare tightens on air and ends empty. Characters across Fyodor's pages live and die by this switch. Dmitry Karamazov, all chest and thunder, crashes through walls and then wonders why the room is full of rubble. He has a lion without a leash. Stavrogin hides inside layers of charm and leaves ash where love should be. He has a fox without a heart. Alyosha carries both under a clear gaze. He refuses evil without fury and sees through tricks without spite. His power looks soft to the hurried eye. In truth, it is the strongest of all, because it belongs to a man no trap can purchase and no bully can move. You can build this in small days. In the morning, choose your default nature. Calm fox, observing, listening, collecting signals. You do not chase, you map. When the first open test arrives, flip to lion for one clean act, then back to fox to watch the result. At noon, check your conscience. Did I wait because it was wise, or because I was afraid? Did I strike because it was needed, or because I wanted to feel big? At night, hold the quiet court and write one correction for tomorrow. This is how reflex grows. Observation, decision, revision. Keep the language of each nature simple enough for a tired mind to use. The fox speaks in short, polite closures. Noted. Please put that in writing. We'll revisit next week. The lion speaks in short, firm sentences. No, that won't work. This is the boundary. Neither lectures, neither pleads. Both respect themselves. Both respect the truth. When you pair them with steady breath and steady eyes, the room reads you without being told. There will be days you miss. You will roar at shadows and whisper to wolves. Do not turn this into shame. Turn it into information. Dostoevsky's people break when they hide from their inner judge. They heal when they bring their mistake to the bench and accept a sentence they can carry. An apology made, a debt paid, a boundary restated, a delay ended. The sentence is the leash you put back in your hand. Tomorrow you will see the wire sooner. Tomorrow your strike will be smaller and cleaner. That is growth. Make a vow you can defend. I do not let fear wear a scholar's coat, and I do not let anger wear a crown. Fear will try to keep you clever forever. Anger will try to make you brave for 10 seconds and lost for 10 months. Your conscience keeps time for both. It tells you when to wait and when to move. It tells you when a fight is duty and when a silence is wisdom. If you listen, you will stop being predictable. The crowd cannot play a person who changes shape on purpose. If you are ready to stop living with one tool and start living with a kit, write it once and mean it. I am the lion that strikes and the fox that vanishes. My conscience holds the leash. Then test it in one small scene before the day ends. Answer a push with a clear no. Answer a probe with a gentle wall. Record what happens. You will feel it. The sudden space around you, the quiet in your chest, the room tilting a few degrees toward stability. That is the beginning of command, and it belongs to the person who can switch. You can read the river and you can switch forms. Now you must learn to remove what corrodes without poisoning yourself. Rooms do not fall into chaos because evil is strong. They fall because standards are weak. Half measures breed tests. Mixed signals invite circles of apology and offense until everyone forgets where the line was. Dostoevsky shows, again and again, that mercy without clarity turns into cruelty by delay, while clarity held by conscience becomes a quiet kindness to everyone in the room. Call it well-used severity. It is swift, finite, and followed by order. You do not threaten 3 times. You speak once, set one consequence, and keep it. You do not dramatize. You decide. You do not humiliate. You close. Badly used severity looks different. It wavers, repeats, and grows spiteful. It turns every boundary into a debate, and every debate into resentment. When people watch you hint, retract, and hint again, they learn the wrong lesson. That your no means convince me, that your line is a story, not a wall. Dostoevsky's courts teach this with painful clarity. In the Brothers Karamazov, the question of justice is never abstract. It is the cost of letting things slide until the bill arrives in blood. Ivan wants a world ordered without sacrifice. Alyosha lives a world ordered by conscience. One is clever, the other is clean, and clean wins. The clean no spares dozens of future quarrels. The clean consequence protects the innocent who do not have the strength to negotiate every hour of their lives. Severity used well is not a performance of anger. It is the refusal to outsource your duty. In the barracks of House of the Dead, men learned quickly which officers meant their words and which did not. Under the wavering hand, cruelty multiplied because every prisoner tried the door to see if it would open. Under the steady hand, even the cruel behaved better because the math was simple and the math did not change. That is your task. Turn your boundaries into math. 1 + 1 is 2, whether the room is laughing or frowning. If you make exceptions, make them out loud and for reasons you can defend to yourself tomorrow. If you cannot defend them tomorrow, do not make them today. There is a danger on the other side, and Fyodor will not let you ignore it. A gentle creature is the gravestone of control disguised as care. Severity that serves ego becomes a cage, and a human heart cannot breathe there. This is why every decisive cut must kneel before the inner judge first. Ask the one question that keeps you human. Does this action protect life, truth, and peace? or does it feed my pride? If it feeds pride, you are only moving the chaos from the street into your chest. If it protects what must be protected, take the step now and do not look back for permission. How does well-used severity sound in a day that is already too full? It sounds like one clear sentence and a closed loop. I will not continue this conversation if you raise your voice. We'll try again tomorrow. Then you end the call. We agreed on deadlines. If the work is late again, I'll reassign it. Then you reassign it. I don't participate in gossip. If you need to address them, invite them here. Then you stop feeding the triangle. You do not insult. You do not explain for 10 minutes. You do not leak anger into 3 other conversations. You execute the sentence you announced, and you leave the hinge visible for a real return. Forgiveness may reopen a door. Access does not. If you must remove someone from the inner circle, do it once, completely, and without poison. You do not scorch the earth or publish a manifesto. You return what is theirs, you reclaim what is yours, you document what matters, and you step away. A clean exit teaches 100 lessons. An angry exit teaches 1 lesson only, that you can be dragged. The people who needed your clarity will feel safe. The people who plan to test you will start planning elsewhere. Even those who dislike you will respect the geometry of your choice, because geometry is easier to live with than mood. Sometimes the attack will be aimed at your name, not your work. Do not swing at shadows. If a false image gathers around you, point to one contradiction, calmly, and let silence finish the argument. In Fyodor's courtrooms, it is rarely the shout that moves the verdict. It is the measured line that cannot be overturned. When you try to win with volume, you lose the only thing that lasts, credibility. When you win with a single stable fact, you do not need to stay and gloat. You leave the room. Your absence becomes part of the lesson. Guilt will try to follow you. It will whisper that you were too much, that you should have given a 5th chance, that kindness means staying available to those who only arrive to take. Do not dialogue with this whisper. Bring it to the bench. Dostoevsky's men break when they argue with their conscience as if it were a beggar at the gate. They heal when they give it jurisdiction. If you must apologize, apologize for tone, not for order. I spoke too sharply. The boundary remains. This sentence is a pillar. Lean on it when the wind rises. Make the decision easy to remember when you are tired. Write one vow you can carry. I strike once. My conscience stays clean. Let it shape a day. Notice the 3 places where you threaten and do not act. Replace each threat with one clear sentence and one simple follow-through. Do this quietly. Do it without audience. Watch what changes. Your calendar grows calmer. Your sleep grows deeper. The room stops testing the wire and starts working inside it. This is not domination. This is design. You are not required to punish anyone. You are required to keep your life livable. The river will always rise. People will always test what looks soft. If your no is steady, you will need it less each month. If your yes is precise, it will bless what it touches. This is the math. Fyodor hands you without numbers, swift, finite, and followed by order. Hold to it, and you will not multiply enemies. You will multiply peace. And when peace grows, you finally have the quiet you need for the next lesson, the one about the code that runs beneath every human choice, the algorithm you must design around if you want your order to last. You know how to read patterns, shape perception, switch forms, and cut clean. Now you must design for the truth, that runs under every choice. People act from self-interest first, and they change when the cost of breaking faith is higher than the comfort it buys. Dostoevsky does not say this to make you bitter. He says it so you stop building on sand. In Notes from Underground, a man will wreck his own good just to prove he is free. In The Brothers Karamazov, fear moves faster than love, but love built with discipline outlasts fear by years. If you design your life as if everyone will always be noble, you will drown. If you design it so that selfishness has no easy purchase, even the weak will behave better in your orbit. This is not cynicism. This is mercy with a ruler in its hand. Start with pain. Pain is not a sentence handed down from the sky. It is a message with an address, a timestamp, and a clue. In House of the Dead, men who learned to read pain survived with their souls intact. They asked simple questions that you can ask tonight. What weakness did this hurt expose? Which signal did I ignore because it was dressed as kindness? What deal did I make with myself to avoid a small conflict that later became a large one? When you answer, the heat drops and the light rises. You stop calling your wound fate and start calling it instruction. Then you can write a rule to prevent the repeat. You do not need 20 rules. You need a few bright ones that you will carry when you are tired. Build your fortress with standards, not walls. A wall hides you and hardens you. A standard keeps you open and keeps you safe. Choose one question to hang above your attention. Does this strengthen me or scatter me? If a person scatters you with drama, confusion, or guilt, you limit access, not with anger, with distance. If a task scatters your day, you schedule it or you refuse it. If a space scatters your focus, you clean it or you leave it. In A Gentle Creature, a man confuses control with care and the house becomes a tomb. Learn his lesson without living his life. A fortress that no one can enter will starve you. A fortress with a gate and a guard will let fresh air in and keep poison out. Now learn to carry gravity. Gravity is not volume. It is not theater. It is the weight that enters a room when a person arrives who needs nothing from anyone. You build it through scarcity and steadiness. Speak less and finish more. Do not argue with gossip. Do not defend yourself to people who trade in doubt. Keep your promises to yourself in public view. Over time, your presence will do what speeches cannot. Conversations will tilt by a few degrees. The nervous talk will slow. In The Idiot, a quiet gaze reveals more than 10 clever monologues. The lesson is simple. People trust what repeats. Become the same person on loud days and quiet ones, and the room will learn to stand still around you. Design relationships for reality. Gratitude fades. Memory is short. Good intentions melt in heat. So make loyalty practical. Align incentives. Put agreements in writing. Make leaving cost more than staying. In Demons, the town is moved by whispers because no one fixed the price of a lie. You can fix it in your world. When someone borrows, set a return time and a consequence. When you work, set the scope and the standard. When you share, define privacy before you tell the story. This is not cold. This is warm wisdom. It spares you the ache of repeating the same lesson to the same student who never enrolled. Hold one more truth with both hands. Fear gets quick results. Love, held by order, builds a house that does not fall. Ivan wants a world tidy without sacrifice. Alyosha lives a world steady because he pays the cost to keep his heart clean. Choose Alyosha's road. Do not use fear where respect will grow. Do not use pressure where a clear path and a clear no will do. Power that crushes will one day crush you. Power that orders will one day rest you. Make this week simple. Each night, run the quiet court for 5 minutes. Speak the day plain. Name one pattern you saw. Write one sentence you will use tomorrow. My time is not open to anyone at any hour. I do not answer triangles. I do not trade truth for comfort. Then keep the sentence once and let the echo teach. When guilt whispers that you are too strict, answer kindly. I spoke sharply, and I am sorry for the tone. The boundary remains. Your soul stays soft. Your line stays strong. Soon, you will feel the system click. Chaos arrives and finds no food. Flattery arrives and finds no purchase. Tests arrive and find a cost they will not pay. You will not argue with reality anymore. You will arrange it. You will not beg for respect. You will embody it. You will not chase openings. You will create them. This is not self-improvement. This is reconstruction. Dostoevsky would tell you that a rebuilt interior changes the street outside. First order, then peace. First conscience, then command. If this spoke to you, write one line where others can see it and where you must live it. I am no longer becoming. I am. If you felt the room steady while you read, share this with the one person who needs a steadier room too, and stay with us for the next chapter. Knowledge that rests becomes noise. Knowledge that moves becomes a life.